So thank you very much for joining us in this this occasion. So we have a lunch talk. This is number 7, starting from February. So now we have Dr. Alpa Amirrachman. Pak Alpa, are you there?
Yeah, I think we need to wait until Pak Alfa respond, yeah?
Okay. He's already here.
Okay. Question and answer in the end.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Bu Lina. All right. So thank you very much. Very good afternoon, everyone. So this afternoon we have a lunch talk for delivered by Faculty of Education, Universitas Islam International Indonesia. So we have here Dr. Alpa Amirrachman. We'll talk about open and distant learning, opportunities and challenges. Okay. So for start, we would like to welcome Prof. Nina as Dean Faculty of Education to give a talk or introduce to us about this one. Okay, Prof. Nina.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bambang. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, I would like to let all of you know, Dr. Bambang Sumintono, the moderator of this afternoon lunch, has been just appointed to be the head of Ph.D. in education program. Okay, congratulate him. And because this year we will open the PhD study program, so we need the head of the study program. Yeah, I'm grateful that today we will have Dr. Alpa Amirrachman, who has been logged in, yeah, but the video is still off. Maybe he still needs something else to do. But I believe that when the time comes, he will be ready to speak with us. And I actually have known Dr. Alpa Amirrachman since 2020. When we were participating in the leadership educational program in Lemhanas, Lembaga Ketahanan Nasional, and I'm glad that Dr. Didin Safruddin, one of our lecturers at the Faculty of Education, recommended Dr. Alpa to teach one of the courses together with me, which is education and equity. Yeah. So I would like to welcome Dr. Alpa to our cycle, yeah. And later, Dr. Bambang Sumintono will introduce who is Dr. Alpa. But what I know shortly that Dr. Alpa spent his master in South Australia, so we are Australian alumni, and then he did his PhD in the Netherlands. And I would like also to acknowledge the presence of the Faculty of Education lectures, Dr. Tantiwardi, Dr. Charina, Dr. Destina. Dr. Lukman is currently taking his data for his research, so he might access the presentation through our recording, yeah. And for all my students, I hope that you are still enjoying your semester break after working very hard during the semester. And I know that some of you are also still work hard in preparing for conference presentations. And I'm very proud of all of your effort and achievement. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, so we would like. We really want to support all of you to come to the conference, but due to the limited funding, if the applicants are more than 2, I think the university need to review and select 2 or 1 person to be awarded travel grants in order they can come in person. But please don't be discouraged. Based on your demand this year, we will provide a more budget in the next coming years in order to cater many of you to go abroad or go around Indonesia. Yeah, and I also noticed that some of the general participants other than triple I students also have attended this session, but I'm sorry that I cannot mention your name one by one. So today is the seventh lunch talk, yeah, being held by the Faculty of Education. We started, as mentioned by Dr. Bambang Sumintono just now, we started in February 2022. And previously, just briefly for those who do not attend yet or who come for the first time to the lunch talk, we began with Dr. Lukmanul Hakim in February. He spoke about group decision. And in March, the second speaker, we have Dr. Charina Ayu Rizkianti, who discussed about empathy in April. Yeah, and we had in April we had Dr. Destina. Okay, in March we have Dr. Charina. Yeah, in April we have Dr. Destina Wahyuwinarti, who spoke about developing Indonesian students' spatial ability to support mathematical learning. And in May, we have the lecture from Dr. Cynthia Revina. She is one of the researchers, yeah, from the Sperry Research Institute, who spoke about teacher policies and teacher quality in Indonesia. And then we have also guest lecture, Dr. Amirrachman, who spoke about issues and challenges in teacher professional development, yeah. And last month we had Dr. Bambang Sumintono, yeah, who spoke about the Indonesian experience of educational decentralization. And I remember to read briefly Dr. Alpa Amirrachman's master thesis also, I think, speak about educational decentralization. Yeah. And the flyer today inform us that today we will have Dr. Alpa Amirrachman, who will speak about the distant education challenge and opportunities. And this is, I think, a very timely topic, especially after the pandemic COVID-19, when we are forced to adjust this with distance online learning to prevent and minimize the spread of the COVID. I remember the first time I had Zoom. Yeah, actually, before the pandemic, I have already invited to attend the meeting via Zoom, but at that time I didn't download the application yet, and I never used the Zoom. But then, due to the pandemic, we are forced to learn how to use it, and now we are comfortable with it. And right now we are using Zoom also in our lunch talk. Yeah, even though the pandemic, the rate of the pandemic is decreasing now, I think it is still there, yeah, and therefore we still need online learning for many reasons and for its advantages, yeah. And I find there are so many advantages of online or distant learning, such as it is safe environmentally because we don't need to travel, and therefore we can save money and time. But at the same time, we might feel lonely because of the absence of interaction, yeah. Students might turn off the video during the class, and mostly for the reason of connection, even though we don't know whether this is a real reason or not. Yeah. This, despite its advantages, this distant learning also have some challenges. Yeah. And let's hear from Dr. Alpa what are the opportunities and challenges of distant learning. And I hope you will all have fruitful discussion today after Dr. Alpa Amirrachman's speech. I think that's all for me. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Prof. Nina. So, let me introduce Dr. Alpa Amirrachman. So, I know him for a long time also, like Prof. Nina. So, Dr. Alpa has a background as in English education, as a bachelor degree. His master thesis about educational decentralization. That is the time that we collide the idea there. Okay, so the good thing about that one is that one of the thesis examiner, my PhD thesis examiner, actually from Alpa supervisor. So his supervisor introduced me to Dr. Alpa thesis, master thesis. So that's become part of a long time knowing each other. And then I'm what we call as working in Malaysia at that time. And then Dr. Alpa is study for Ph.D. at University of Amsterdam. Okay. Back from University of Amsterdam, I still remember he got the postdoctoral position in Leiden, and then followed to ISEAS. Now is Yusuf Iksak, what do you call this? Is as a postdoc and preparing the book chapter, the research book there. So I come to visit in Singapore at that time, Yusuf Institute, okay, to listen about his research, okay. And then Dr. Alpa's background also involved as a teacher, journalist, and also director of Seamolek, as well as lecturers in Faculty of Education in Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa Serang, Banten, right? So today he will share about experience and thought and then ideas regarding about open and learning, distant education and challenges and opportunities. Okay, Dr. Apa, the screen is yours. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bambang, for giving me the screen. And I'd like to thank Professor Nina Nurmila for having me in this very great occasion and inviting me to be part of the family of this very prestigious, although pretty new university. And ladies and gentlemen, first of all, again, I'd like to thank everyone for having me here. On this occasion, I would like to share with you some insights, some experiences as well with regard to the theory and also the implementation of open and distance learning in Indonesia and beyond. For this, allow me to share with you my presentation. Is it okay?
Yes.
All right, okay. Thank you. So challenges and opportunities in distance education. Yeah. Okay, first, of course, what is the concept of distance education? Yeah, distance education, according to one expert, according to UNESCO in this case, is any educational process in which all or most of the teaching is conducted by someone removed in space and or time from the learner, with the effect that most of the communication between teachers and learners is through an artificial medium, either electronic or print. So it can be conducted in two ways, yeah, electronic or print. And another expert says that teaching and blended learning, in which teaching normally occurs in a different place from the learning, requiring communication through technologies as well as special institutional organization. From the second definition, it highlights the importance of an institutional organization. So it cannot just conducted just like that. You know, it has to be supervised, it has to be managed, it has to be organized, yeah, by an institution. And open learning and distance learning are sometimes used interchangeably. Yeah. So what is the difference between the two? Two are almost very similar. Open and distance modes of learning are quite similar, but there is a significant difference between these corresponding courses. In the open learning module, candidates are allowed to take admission in any courses without any age limit. However, distance learning is a form of open learning where candidates can pursue a desired course without any classroom presence. So sometimes it is called distance learning, sometimes it is called open learning, online learning, and then sometimes it is also called ODL, or open and distance learning. So basically, open and distance learning are a combination between these two, which are very similar, but there is a difference between the two. What are the proposed benefits? Since distance learning is a way of learning remotely to provide access to education while keeping the quality without being in regular face-to-face classroom setting, it offers some benefits. First, time flexible. Second, reducing geographical barriers. 3, competitive cost. And 4, learner-centered, or student-centered. So it has been considerably demonstrated its ability to meet a wide range of learning needs and different types of learners. So it's very flexible. It can suit to learning needs. It can also suit to various types of learners. And what are the connections with learning theory? Some argue that educational technology is not connected to learning theories, but there are some attempts to connect them. Particularly constructivism and behaviorism. Behaviorism considers learning as a reactive process, with students taking a passive role. Educational technology within the digital milieu, however, does not fit well with behaviorism, since digital means enabling an active and more student-centric approach. So this is more in line with constructivist view. The constructivist theory, pioneered by Brunner, proposes that learning is an active process where students construct knowledge or new concept based on their experiences. So becoming autonomous and independent learners who take responsibility for their learning anytime and anywhere. So it is more in line with constructivist view when we talk about learning theories. This is the evolution of distance education, ladies and gentlemen. From 1880, this is the first generation distance education, individual-based approach. It used correspondence at the time. And then when it comes to 1960, Open University, second generation, it began to use multimedia, as a medium. This is a parallel development and an expansion to third generations. And then in 1970, it started the remote classroom using video conference. 1980, fourth generation, And then in 1990, when the internet arrived, it comes to a very significant development, where there is blended online learning, synchronous online learning, autonomous self-directed, and synchronous online learning. So now it devolves, from 2010 until now. We can see how the development of distance education using various types of technology, that it has become more and more effective and efficient. This is the generation of distance education, ladies and gentlemen. First, we have correspondent model. This is using pre-packaged learning materials, or in Bahasa Indonesia, it is called modul cetak. If any one of you were familiar with Open University of Indonesia, Universitas Terbuka, because you can find out that they initially used pre-packaged learning materials. And then next we have multimedia model. We use print, audio, video cassettes. And then we can also use telelearning model, TV, radio broadcast, audio, video conference. And then flexible learning model, interactive multimedia, computer, internet based. And now we have network connectivism model, interactive internet based, OER, open educational resources, social media, and also MOOC, massive open online course. So this is a new development in online training, and it might be of interest of our university, to develop this kind of massive open online course also, to serve our students. This is the mode of distance education, using internet and without internet. When you are using internet, you are using learning management system. When you're not using the internet, you're using independent learning model. So virtual learning or distance learning is not always supported by internet. It can also be done by independent learning module. Yeah. Now this is the distance learning proportion type. Yeah, when we come to technology, of course. Yeah, proportion of material submitted. If it is conventional, yeah, without proportion of material submitted online. This is face-to-face tutorials, yeah, without any parts delivered with ICT. And then it is range from 29% facilitated by ICT. Like lecturers already use ICT. This program uses a course management system or web page to deliver syllabus, assignment, email for communication. And 30 to 79%, it is called blended or hybrid. This is combining online and face-to-face facilities to deliver learning materials and interaction in addition to independent learning activities. Most of the lecture material is delivered online. Generally, they use the learning management system, LMS, as I said before, online discussion, and there's still a face-to-face proportion, about 20%. 80 to 100% full online e-learning, almost full online learning. Yeah, this is almost done by using online. Now, arriving COVID-19, yeah, we experienced this for the past 2 years, and there are 3 ways that the pandemic reshaped our education revolutionary. First, education nudge and push to change. This could lead to surprising innovation. The slow pace of change in academic institutions globally is lamentable, with centuries-old lecture-based approach to teaching, entrenched institutional biases, and outmoded classroom. As we know that in education world, yeah, there is a strong tendency to hold to status quo. It's very hard to change, but the pandemic, yeah, has changed this forever. Has become a catalyst for educational institutions worldwide to search for innovative solution in a relatively short period of time. And second, we saw public-private educational partnership could grow in importance in providing digital platforms, yeah, as a solution to the crisis. We see the collaborations of a lot of actors, yeah, a lot of stakeholders. And third, we can see the digital divide that could widen. Yeah, I think this is a problems that can be found, yeah, not only in other countries, but also in Indonesia. But this is the challenge that we are going to face. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the practice. Yeah, in Indonesia, we have Universitas Terbuka or Open University. This was established in 1984. This is Indonesia's state university that employs open and distance learning to widen access to higher education to all Indonesian citizens, including those who live in remote islands throughout the country, as well as in various parts of the world. So not only in Indonesia, the students are also in other parts of the world. It has a total student body of 1 million as of 2019-2020. Yeah, and according to a distance education institution in the UK, this university is one from the top 10 mega universities. Yeah, so ranked after similar universities in China and Turkey. So this really widen access, to education, to students, really help widen access. And second, from private university, this is just recently established. This is called Universitas Cyber Muhammadiyah, has just established and then has just got a permit from the government, has just started, I think, this semester. So it hasn't had any progress, but I think this is one of the breakthrough also, not from the government parts, but from the private sectors. And there are other many, I think, private initiatives, that are trying to make use of this opportunity of having virtual or online or open and distance learning. Second practice that I would like to share with you, before it was in higher education, now in secondary education. This is in 2016 until now by Siamolek. Siamolek is Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization Regional Open Learning Center, in which I was director for 3 years until December last year. So this was conducted starting, in 2016, even before my directorship. Yeah, it was conducted in West Java. Yeah, to improve access, quality, and relevance of secondary education, as well as in supporting the access for dropouts and primary school graduates who are unable to continue their education due to economic, geographical, time, social, and cultural constraints. Yeah, this is a concern of West Java leadership. Why? Yeah, because of the low quality of education, and there are still a significant number of people who don't attend education in West Java. So these are the objectives in detail. First is to improve access, quality, and relevance of secondary education to support the achievement target of universal secondary education in Indonesia, to improve access to secondary education for junior high school graduates who are unable to continue their education due to economic, geographical, time, social, and cultural constraints, to increase the enrollment number of secondary education in West Java province, to improve the quality and access of education through distance education system in Indonesia, particularly in the province of West Java. And at a wider scope, these programs is expected to reduce unskilled labor and improve their working skills and capabilities. This is the problem of West Java, ladies and gentlemen. Enrollment rate of students was very low, disparity in school capacity, the low economic status of parents, the remoteness of student residence. This is a very wide area of West Java. Yeah. And social and geographical difficulties to reach regular education service, to reach the school. Sometimes it's very far. Yeah. So even in 2013, 2014, until 2015, students are unable to continue to education to high school. We can still find the cases. So this is the scheme of distance learning implementation in West Java province. It is joined by ordinary or regular senior high school and vocational high school. So there are two types of schools that join this. Yeah, regular high school, senior high school, and vocational senior high school. So this is the Regional Office of Education, West Java pilot case. Yeah, this is the headquarter, and then it comes to senior high school as distance learning providers, and then teachers, and then learning centers and tutors. Yeah, I will explain in detail later. And this is for the left side is for regular senior high school. The right side is for vocational senior high school. Yeah, in vocational high schools, it involves not only learning centers, but also involve industries as learning centers. Yeah, so we involve industries as sectors, to get participated in this program. Yeah, to help students of SMK or vocational senior high school. So this is the main schools in the center, high school and vocational high school. And then we have a lot of dots of learning centers, that provide educational services to students, who are unable to go to the main school because of the geographical barriers, because of time, because of social economic constraint, etc. Yeah. So this is the lesson learning provider. We have LC, the learning centers that are around the main providers. LC can be located in junior high school, community learning centers, can also be located in the market, in a store, in agricultural land. Community business unit can be located in community center, head of community office, in community hall, and it can also be located in industry, particularly for students of vocational senior high schools. This has a significant degree of flexibility. This is example of learning schedule for distance learning students. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 days, students are studying using self-learning materials on LMS. Yeah, if it is using internet, or printed modules if it is using non-internet. Yeah, and then for 6 and 7, for 2 days, students participate in face-to-face tutorial conducted in a learning center. Yeah, so this is the seven days in a week. Yeah, until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 independent learning using LMS or independent module, and day 6 and day 7, they have to come to the learning center to have a tutorial. So 7 day study in distance with blended learning mode. And the role of Siamolek at that time, yeah, is developing the program design, creating guidelines, curriculum adjustment, program and system development, and instructional material development, and teacher training as well. Hybrid mode of ICT-based ODL. It delivers its learning materials via 3 types of blended mode: face-to-face, video conference, and web-based. ICT-based is ranging from 30 to 79%, face-to-face 30%. This allowing students to study while not leaving their work. They can still work. Yeah. Communication between students and tutors is carried out through emails, mobile communication application, and uses web-based learning resources. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the outcome of gross enrollment rate after we applied the open and distance learning. Yeah. There is a significant increase in gross and enrollment rate, yeah, from 2016 to 2018. 2016, I mean, 69%, 2017, 72%, 2018, 81.25%. Yeah. I think we predicted that it has been growing also. We haven't calculated until today, you know. But okay. The organization has a vision to widen this practice to be implemented in other provinces of Indonesia and also probably Southeast Asian countries and beyond. You know. Yeah. The second best practice is online course development by utilizing CATC toolboxes, ladies and gentlemen. This is Common Asian Tourism Curriculum. So before I explain about higher education in Indonesia, implementation in secondary education in Indonesia, now it's more on ASEAN level. Yeah, so Common Asian Tourism Curriculum toolboxes. This is to attract more learners. Distance learning is also an alternative to accelerate and expand the massive use of Common Asian Tourism Curriculum. To provide flexibility in learning, this approach can be applied to enhance TVET students, vocational students, their competency by utilizing the potential common standards and tools in tourism. This is the milestones in 2018. They conducted a feasibility study, 2019 online course development, 2020 first implementation pilot, and 2021 second implementation pilot. And this is the feasibility study, the use of application of Common Asian Tourism. Find out the possibility of conducting a distance learning from the tourism sector by implementing CATC, yeah, in several countries, the feasibility study. And this is it was carried out to determine the policies and directions of vocational education, identify needs and constraints in different contexts of Southeast Asia member countries, and comparison of the experience on the application of distance learning. The feasibility study was conducted in 6 countries: Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos PDR, the Philippines, Thailand, and Timor-Leste. The feasibility study methods were conducted through face-to-face meetings with relevant parties in each country together with study on authoritative literature. This is the finding of the feasibility study. Those 6 initial countries show different levels of development. Yeah. Since the application and implementation of these by various education leads to differences in quality and teaching, evaluation, and curriculum standards. Yeah. So third, differences in level of English proficiency. Yeah. And fourth, assisting the enhancement of professional competency development in tourism among studied countries. Distance learning is considered is an effective solution to provide linkage and accessibility of tools, learning resources, and trainings. And this is the phase 3 in 2019 development of housekeeping series of CATC based online courses. Online courses development, yeah. At the time they are using MOOC platform of the office, massive open online course. Yeah. So 6 labor division within 242 unit competencies provided in the toolboxes. 3 unit competencies in housekeeping level 2 has been chosen, namely provide housekeeping service to guests, clean and prepare rooms, provide a lost and found facility. So these are the skills, yeah, and also of course our knowledge that are provided. To prepare the online courses, the office working together with the Center for Business and Hospitality, Teacher and Education, Personal Development and Empowerment, Ministry of Education and Culture, and also some other partners. This is the implementation scenario of first pilot. Yeah. Selected teachers in institution participated in the pilot will be tutors in the respective countries. This is online course development by utilizing common ASEAN tourism curriculum. Yeah, this is the example of the screenshot, yeah, of the training. And first pilot target participants. Yeah. In Cambodia, there is a high school there named Hun Sen Champuvoin. In Indonesia, some schools there in Lau PDR, in the Philippines, yeah, in Thailand, and also in Timor-Leste. Yeah, these are the target participants for the first pilot. Phase 3, 2020 first pilot, implementation of online courses in 6 countries, getting feedback, reviewing those courses, development of 3 new courses for other competency units, invitation of second pilot participation from countries of the first pilot of other CMA member countries, invitation of ASEAN master trainers for other countries as online trainers of second pilot, workshop for tutors and technical assistant for second pilot. Phase 4, second pilot, online course implementation, project benefits, monitoring, and evaluation. These are the expected results, ladies and gentlemen. 6 online courses based on CATC toolboxes, unit competencies, and materials are delivered to Southeast Asian Tibet students. Students will get the certificate of completion. Best practices from this pilot will be valuable foundation to accelerate understanding, distribution of toolboxes, as well as availability of skilled workers. And the online trainings that we provide, this is for lecturers, teachers, technicians, staff, and students. This is the online training activities, pre-online courses, how to get started to the MOOC, and then learning, yeah, learning activities, and completion. Yeah, these are the details of the activities that are done. Yeah. Pre-online course, how to get started, to join course, learning, how the learning is conducted, yeah, finish self-assignment, submitting the final project, yeah, and completion. Yeah. Okay. This is the online training schedule that we usually had at the time: first week, second week, third week, fourth week, and fifth week. This is the example of the screenshots of the activities of online training discussion sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the practices, yeah, that have been done, you know, among others by Sia Molek, Southeast Asian Minister of Education Organization Regional Open Learning Centers, which focuses on the development and open and distance learning, not only in Indonesia, but also in ASEAN countries, and also examples of the universities, higher education, Open University, Universitas Terbuka, and Universitas Cyber Muhammadiyah, which is from the private sector. And now we come to the discussions, you know, of this, you know, the cost effective versus quality. I would like to quote what Michael Peckerson and Lawrence Becko have argued. If technology is used in broad access institution to drive costs down without regard to quality, and at the same time is used in elite higher education to further increase the cost and restrict the availability of the best education, we will win up with a society both more unequal and less productive than it could be. So this is the trap, yeah, that we have to be very careful. Taking advantage of the potential for the flexibility of online learning to expand meaningful educational opportunities and reduce inequality of outcome across socioeconomic groups will require developing cost-effective, individualized, and adaptive learning strategies for integrating the strengths of technology with the unique qualities of the social process of education. So this is a challenge of combining the potential of technology and at the same time also taking care of the quality of education and the unique social process of education. So this is the thing that we have to bear in mind for all of us. 6 advantages of distance learning for students. First, won't forget homework materials. Second, it will reduce social anxiety. Third, flexible scheduling opportunities. Fourth, as Professor Nina Nurmila said before in the opening, stay healthy and keep others safe. Yeah. 5, offer accessible to everyone and allow for self-paced learning. So these are the 6 advantages of distance learning for students. Yeah. And 5 benefits of distance learning, yeah, for parents and educators for both. There is no commute. Yeah, you don't need to travel. You work better with an atypical work schedule. Parents get to know their child classmate. Yeah, so parents will get to know, that their children's, get interactions, or they have interaction with what kind of friends that they have. Yeah. Reduce the overall cost of schools. Yeah, you don't need school building, you don't need school classrooms. Yeah, so reduce the overall cost of school. This is called effectiveness, yeah, of the distance learning. 4 positive effects of distance learning on life skills. Students can use a digital whiteboard for various assignments. Prepare students to work from home in the future. So this will train our students, our children, to get used to working from home in the future. Distance learning teaches time management. You have to be very disciplined. If you are not disciplined, we will for sure, you will lose, your benefits of having distance learning. Yeah, you have to have a time management, a very strict time management. Provide broader networking opportunities, because you will have various friends, not only from your country, but also from other countries from throughout the world. Yeah? You can come and interact with them, be friends with them. So it widen networking opportunities for our students when they come to work in the future. These are the perceived disadvantages of distance learning. It really needs strong self-motivation. Yeah. If our students have less self-motivation, it is almost certain that they will fail in distance learning. It can also hinder the development of communication skills. In this case, meaning natural communication skills, where you have to meet people, interact with them, compliment them. Yeah, the chemistry is built naturally when you meet face to face. But this doesn't happen because you're using a laptop to see their face. Lack of practical experience, especially for vocational students. They need hands-on practice. Yeah, you cannot just using a digital simulator. Yeah. The problem of user identification. Yeah, this is also the problem. Yeah, you have to be very honest. Our students, our children have to be very honest that their assignments are really done by them, not by their parents, for example, or by their friends. These are further challenges, ladies and gentlemen. Expensive online training tools and programs. Yeah, it requires expensive technologies, and it can also lack of motivation and engagement. Yeah. Difficulties adjusting to a new learning environment, conflicts with time and responsibilities. Yeah, when you have to work, for example, different learning styles and pace, and quality assurance. Yeah, like the case in West Java. It has increased gross enrollment rate, but it doesn't mean that the quality of education is also increasing. Although this has to be studied more thoroughly, but some argue that when they come to class, the number of students increase, the gross enrollment rate was increasing, but that doesn't always come with the high quality of education. The last challenge, and this is going to be my last slide, is how character development in this is developed. Yeah, how character is developed in distance education. When the pandemic started and teachers are confused, they try to engage themselves, in online, in virtual interaction with their students. They came to me and they said, how can I teach my students with values? How can I transfer values, not only my knowledge, but how can I transfer values to my students? How can I be a role model for my students if I don't meet with them, if I interact with them only through my laptop? Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, in 2010 there was a research, that touched upon this issue, character development in distance education. It is very, very possible that character traits are developed using distance education. In summary, the instructor and students perceive that students have experienced character development in a variety of ways. First, performance character traits and strengths of self-discipline and self-directness in learning, analytical and deeper approach to learning, imagination and creativity, appreciation of literature, motivation to continue their education, and self-confidence. These are the character traits and strengths that are considered developed during the process of distance learning. Second is moral character traits and strengths of increasing moral desires, enhancing moral discernment, and moral courage. Relational character traits and strengths of open-mindedness, sharing learning with others, improving communication with others, and improving relationship. This is the thing, the blessing in disguise, I think, in the pandemic, where people are forced to be at home, but at the same time, they have to engage in meeting. They have no excuse to skip the meeting. Because why? Because the meeting is conducted virtually via Zoom. So you cannot just escape when you are using that offline. Maybe you can have an excuse of traffic jam and etc. But when you are having online meeting, you don't have any excuse. So this improve relationship, communication with others. I think this is one of the blessings in disguise that we had during the pandemic. We had a lot of Zoom activities. We have so many, from formal meetings to informal meetings. And the last one is spiritual character trait and strengths of humility, faith, hope, and charity. These are the more positive aspects that are also developing during the distance learning process. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think I would like to stop from here, and then I'll be very happy if we can have further discussion of this. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Bambang Sumintono.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Alpha, for very nice and conclusive information regarding open and distance education. So I would like to what you call is inform to you that my background also come from distance learning. My bachelor degrees come from Universitas Terbuka. So at that time, when I was a teacher, don't have the closest faculty of education that have the major in chemistry education. So I joined Universitas Terbuka. So I am one of the product of distance learning actually. All right. So right now we have Dr. Charina already raised hand. Okay, Bu Chari, you may ask Dr. Alpha.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Bambang. Can you hear my voice clearly, Pak Bambang?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Afra, thank you so much for the explanation, which is very insightful. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to apologize because I cannot turn on my camera. So, but the thing is, before I ask a question, I do agree with you that like the distant learning has nothing to do with the character development. So I'm the one, actually we have been through it, that whether it is online or offline, the way we transfer about the knowledge and also the character, it's not mainly in face-to-face connection, but also in online learning, we can do more better than offline. So that's what my like opinion for that, based on the real experience. And the second one is I'm going to ask about what have you displayed in your like PowerPoint. That is about in terms of generation of distance educations, Dr. Afra. So we have been so familiar within social media, and it has been also common to share student assignment in their social media. Particularly, some courses has their own social media to share what they have learned during in their classroom. So my question is, what do you think, or what kind of suggestion or opinion you have? In what extent actually the social media can support our learning process, or like what I said previously, when students share their assignment in the social media, in your opinion, based on your research, of course, in what extent actually the social media can support our learning process? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Cherry. So I think
Maybe we can, Pak
Yep.
Bambang, maybe
Yes.
if there are other questions, can collect them first.
Oh, all right. Okay, is there any other questions somebody want to ask? I think at the moment, oh, okay, Bu Destina, so you next.
Okay, thank you, Pak Bambang, and thank you, Pak Alpha, for the insightful presentation. It might be a bit different from Bu Cherry, but it's okay because you said to put it together. So I'm really interested with distant learning. So I work also a lot with distant learning, particularly with school teachers. Previously, I worked in a philanthropy organization, and we work a lot with a learning program for teachers. And what we see here is actually distant learning, particularly online learning, has really lots of benefits. Talking about budget and all of that is really good. And then we also things like information and everything is like quite fast to deliver to the even teachers or student itself. But what happened is normally along the way, my experience is always one thing that is quite difficult to handle is when you say earlier about autonomous and independent learning. This is one factors that we find it really challenging, because what I face, what I experienced handling online learning, like self-paced learning, is how the person who joined the training itself has self-regulated learning. So mostly what happens when we open the program, like lots of people going to join at the very first place, let's say hundreds. But at the end of the program, we just have like, let's say less than 10% who can finish the program. And that happens in many instances. What I ask you is like, do you have any, like maybe based on your experience, how we can help, or how we try to cope with this problem when autonomous based learning is become regardless is very efficient, but in another things is how to let our students who or anyone who joined the program has, you know, or the motivation, or they have the eagerness to keep on the track and then finish the program. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Bu Destina. Dr. Bambang, can I answer that, or maybe you have another questions from other participants?
I think there's two two questions from two lecturers. That's just to answer directly by you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you, Dr. Charina. Yeah, about the character development, I'm glad that you also has shared the same perspective with me. And then about the evolutions of open and distance learning, the role of social media. Yeah, I think it hasn't been touched in my diagram. Yeah, because diagram is not really updated until now. Yeah, but I believe that the social media has also has the potential also, to support the learning process. With regard to the medium, yeah, that are being used, very much depends, on the agreement between the lecturers or teachers and the students. So it very much depends, on the agreement of that. If we agree on the use of, for example, let's say that we assign our students to produce a very short, insightful, even analytical video, for example, a very short time. And then the teachers or the lecturers ask them to display that in TikTok, for example. It can also be used. Yeah, it has the potential to be used. It also familiarizing students with the beneficial use of the social media. The social media, in this case, is used not only for entertainment, but also for education. So it is very possible. Even the very first week of the pandemic, yeah, when we experience chaos, yeah, in educational landscape, where students and teachers are grappling, to learn how to use Zoom, etc. When we ask, for example, we conduct a little survey, to teachers during the first months of the pandemic. We ask, very simple questions. Are you using an online material or online methodology? Yes. Yeah, we are using now. And then when we ask what kind of medium that you are using, we are using WhatsApp. Oh, they are using WhatsApp group, to disseminate assignment. And then the very first months of the pandemic, I think we could hear complaints, from students that online or working, studying at home is very hard, very heavy, yeah, very burdensome. Why? Because teachers were only using WhatsApp to deliver instructional materials, assignments. So lots of assignments, yeah, through WhatsApp group. Yeah. So this is the excessive use of social media. Yeah. But after that, of course, it developed further, more in a more positive directions. But again, there is a potential use of social media to support the learning process, and it very much depends on the agreement between teachers or lecturers and the students, to use that to one extent. Ibu Destina, yes, independent learning, yeah, is very challenging. When we open it happens very constantly, in my previous office, when we opened the registration, there were hundreds of people signing up. And then at the end of the course, it went down to maybe less than 100. Yeah. And then it is very possible it could happen like that. Yeah. Because online learning or virtual learning or open and distance learning or distance learning requires self-discipline, self-motivations. Yeah. It will naturally select, serious disciplined participants. But usually, Ibu Destina, when we involve public school teachers, because we are giving them certificate, and then the certificate is used, for them, to enhance their careers, in their schools. They will stay until the end of the course. But when we involve teachers from private sectors, yeah, that which they don't really need, the certificates to enhance their career because they are not civil servants, they will naturally drop down, from 200 maybe to less than 100. It will select naturally. At the end of the day, only students with strong determination will stay. Only students or participants with strong desire to master the knowledge, yeah, and skills that will stay until the end of the training. So it's very possible like that. Of course, Bu Destina, it is a challenge, for teachers, for lecturers to give motivation to them. You can tell them about the opportunities that they can have if they have enhanced their competence, enhance their professionalism through this course. You can give them a background, a future perspective, how their life, will be changed in more positive directions if they have new knowledge, etc. It's a challenge, of course, for me as a lecturer or as a teacher. Thank you, Abidastina. I will give this screen back, not the floor, but the screen back to Dr. Bambang.
Okay, thank you very much for the wonderful answer. So I think there's a lot of difficulties and there's a lot of challenge, especially for a sudden situation when the COVID comes. All right. So any other questions? So maybe from student, Supriyono, you always very happy to ask questions. Or maybe Sauki. Murni? Okay, so if not, so I would like to ask also another question for you, Dr. Alpa. Okay, so based on our experience, so in IEEU, so what you call this, we have a different kind of interaction from previous semester to this semester. So the satisfaction level of students, so based on our experience, so is increased if we don't rely so much on online learning, okay? And at the same time, we also detect some difference in terms of interaction between gender. So most likely that, for example, female, they tend to be more what you call critical looking to the way how what you call is teaching and learning are conducted compared to the other gender. What do you think about that one?
Thank you, Dr. Bambang, for these insightful questions. I think with the die down of the pandemic, we have an opportunity now to combine online and offline. Of course, it will be very boring. It will be very discouraging, if we stick on online all the time, and it will be more refreshful, of course, if we can combine them with the offline activities, especially for TVET students, for vocational students. It is very important for them, to have that hands-on activities, in schools. So this will also apply for the universities. I think this semester now, because my children at the university now, I already sent my children to go to their boarding schools, boarding rooms, to start an offline activities, and they are very excited to do that, of course, and of course, as predicted by McKinsey, online or virtual or distance learning now after this pandemic will be part of our ecosystem, will still be part of educational ecosystem, because we have found out the effectiveness, the efficiency, that can be achieved by using distance learning. So to some degree, this will still be in place in our educational ecosystem. Secondly, with regard to gender, I have no knowledge on this, why women are critical, you mean? I think it's not only in distance learning areas, I'm sorry, Dr. Bamba, I have no experience with this, but of course, with my students, maybe because most of my students in faculty of education, most of them are female, so they are more active, of course, but that's because of the number of them is bigger than male students. I think that's what I can answer, Dr. Bamba. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Alpa. Okay. Any other question from the floor or from the screen? Okay, student maybe, Murni, Ririn. Oh, Sauki. Okay, we have, okay, so, okay, Miss Wahyu Wulandari, okay, go ahead. Okay, Miss Wahyu Wulandari, okay, you can ask question to Dr. Alpha and Supriyono, of course. Okay, Supriyono first.
Pak Wahyu Wulandari, Pak.
Miss Wahyu, can you hear me? I don't think she respond. Okay, maybe you go first, Supriyono.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity, Pak Bambang. So it is actually a really insightful explanation from Pak Alpha, and I'm really happy to hear your presentation. So my question is related to, about the what is it called, the future of online learning, actually, because I was thinking like during the pandemic, there has been like what is it called, an idea, a notion that when it comes to learning helped by the pandemic itself, the future of education is kind of like cannot be detached from what we call as online learning. So I was thinking like, and the question at the moment is actually like, can like online learning replace the conventional learning? And some people argue that no, because there are a lot of online learning that cannot cater the conventional learning.
The government or subject or
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is actually related to one of the reason why online learning cannot fully replace the conventional learning is actually because related to, for example, like the motivation of the students. For example, like students cannot really feel motivated when study online, and then there's also like all the factors, but most of the time I think it's because of the students really feel like, I feel bored because I'm a student myself who experienced online learning, and I feel like, you know, we really need like a very great motivation to study when it comes to online learning. So considering that there are a lot of universities who are fully online right now, or maybe there are a lot of schools that are online, provide only online learning as a way, as a medium for the teaching and learning process. Like, for example, like Open University, and then Muhammadiyah Cyber University, and there's also some of, I think EAE and Cirebon also want to be opening a platform for fully online university, things like that. And I was thinking like, can like online learning become a very one thing that we can look for, but considering the challenge in the future, because considering that there are a lot of things, especially when it comes to the motivation of the students, things like that. I was thinking like, how do you see in the future about the opportunities of the online learning itself? Is it like something that can be a good option for us to choose for our education for our children? That's the thing that I want to ask. Thank you very much, Alpha and Bambang.
Okay, thank you, Supriyono. So, Ms. Wahyu, can you speak now?
okay, thank you so much,
Okay.
sir. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'm really excited for discussing. So I want to ask you one thing that in Indonesia, especially, there are so many natural schools, but I think that the government or researcher or other stakeholder did not pay too much attention to the development of natural school. So I wanna ask your opinion about this problem. Thank you.
Can you please repeat again the exact problem that you are mentioning?
About the natural school as sekolah alam in Indonesia, because I think that the government or researcher not pay too much attention about the development of natural school.
All right. Okay. Okay. I think the question is really understood by Dr. Alpha. Okay, Murni, next one.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity, and I will say thank you for Pak Alpa because you give many insightful information with us. In this chance, I will ask a question. I agree that you say distance learning give many benefits to the student and to the institutional such as school. And then when we say about benefit and we compare between the challenge of the when we implemented that system in Indonesia, sometimes there are many gaps, such as like when we implement between benefits and the challenge, it's many it increases many problems. You said that the one of the benefits it can give access and then can increase the quality of the institution and the students. But in these situations, I will ask you as the practitioners of the institution in education, when we talk about education, Indonesian educational system right now. How about your opinions that distance learning, in my opinion, distance learning, it will has a potential, it has highly potential to create education to be business institutions than nurturing educations. I just want to know about your opinions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Alpha.
Yeah, very, very challenging questions. First to Pak Supriyono, the feature of online learning, whether the conventional learning can really be replaced by online learning, and then your admission that you are getting more and more discouraged, if we do this through online all the time. I think this is not a matter of whether it can be replaced or not, and what can be replaced by what. Yeah, it's not really a matter of what, but it really a matters of the needs. Yeah, of the needs of the educational needs, of the needs of the learning types, the needs of the type of the learners. So with the online learning, it can customize those needs. So if it cannot customize those needs, then meaning that conventional learning is to be done. Yeah. So that is why, as predicted by McKinsey, in the future, we cannot get away from online learning, of course, but at the same time, also we are obliged, to come to conventional meetings, to socialize, to build chemistry with our friends, with our colleagues. But at the same time, also we understand that there are things, maybe they are subject matters, yeah, that can be done virtually. You don't need to come to see me. If you just want to do this, for example, then you can do it online. So it very much depends on the needs, on the needs of of the learning. Yeah. So second, Bu Wahyu, about the natural school, I think there is a little bit difference, you know, between what we mean by distance and open learning and the natural schools. Yeah, and the more the natural schools, Wala Alam, it much more about how to introduce the nature, you know, to our students in an open space, but still students will still have to go to the schools. Even one is a form of a boarding schools. Yeah, it's a little bit different, but of course, you know, it involves pedagogical aspects. It involves independent learning as well. It involves also discipline, but more in the natural school. To the best of my knowledge, is more about how we introduce our students to the nature and how we instill love to our students for the nature. Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Bu Murni, about the tendencies. Yes, of course, you know, particularly for private educational institution, they have to make money, you know, to support their operational activities, you know. But doesn't mean that that will be educational institution will go into the direction of only school-minded activities. I mean, business-minded activities only, not just to collect money from students. Yeah, of course, not only that, you know, because at the same time, educational institution needs to offer quality educations, you know, that can bring benefits, you know, to students when they finish their study. They can work, they can continue their professional development. If the universities which provides online learning do not fulfill their needs, students will leave them. Students will never go, people will never trust that educational institution anymore. But of course, as the literature that I have just reading, there is a tendency of business-minded activities, you know, that try to dominate, you know, these online courses, particularly with regard to MOOC, massive open online course, you know. Yeah, with massive open online course, you know, there is a specific price, you know, for one course, you know, and then there is a specific method of compliment, you know, if this course is good, and then they will give them 3 or 4 stars. Yeah, and then people will search for that course, and that is not free. Yeah, you have to pay. Yeah, it probably offers a good high quality course, you know, but you have to pay. And that is what I mean by business activities. Yeah, as long as it provides quality education, there is nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I have to emphasize the role of the state, you know, to strike a balance, you know, between these. So the state has a responsibility to make sure that not only people with lots of money that can get high quality education, yeah, either to online or offline learning. So that's, I think, when we come to issue of equity, issue of fairness, I think this will involve not only the private sectors, but also the government roles, you know, to ensure that everyone is entitled to having high quality education. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Dr. Alpa. So we have here Mr. Mansur. Okay, he want to also sharing about the experience in Afghanistan context. Maybe you also can comment on it. Okay, Mr. Mansur.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for giving me a chance, sir, to sharing my experience. I was a lecturer at the private university in Afghanistan. During the pandemic, we have online class. On that time, I share my experience, what I learned in Indonesia. I share with my colleagues. I told them, let's try to have online classes, because we cannot have offline class during the pandemic. All university was closed. So they said, how can we can make an online class? So I gave them my opinion. I said, let's have a Zoom meeting. So when we provide a Zoom meeting, our students said we cannot join Zoom meeting because we don't have internet. They have bad economic situation. That's why all of them cannot join the Zoom meeting. So after that, we try to make a screen video, like we record the videos and share on WhatsApp to our student. And we start like that and share the videos to our students. So we face many challenges, like our students said we cannot understand some videos, like we have mathematics, we have accounting. These subjects, when we share our video, they said it's really difficult for us to understand these subjects. So please, can you make some more details about the mathematics or accounting? So on that time, I share with my colleagues. I said, let's have make a video on the class and share our video to WhatsApp also. It's another way. So as you know, in Afghanistan, there is the technology is not developed as like Indonesia or another country, and some people have not access to internet also. So we share our experience. Now it's offline classes. We don't have any online classes. There is just some online classes, like we share. It's not, I already resigned from university because since the regime's changing here, since Taliban came to Afghanistan, I resigned from my from university. So there is some classes. Sometimes I open, I see they make some classes for the girls studying private classes. It's just for girls, because the girls are not allowing to go to school. They make a Zoom meeting. The Zoom meeting is just for 100 people can join the Zoom meeting. If it's become 200, they cannot join. So it's my experience in Afghanistan, the online classes, the challenges and opportunities. Thank you.
All right, so thank you for sharing the experience. So Dr. Alpa, is it really typical to also happen in Indonesia, is it?
Yes, I think so. Thank you very much, Mr. Mansur, for sharing your experience. I think the problem of access to reliable internet connections, can also be found here in some areas in Indonesia, and it problems in all over the world. Yeah, but I'm interested in addressing the issues of women's education, education for women, especially in Afghanistan, because we just maybe 2 days ago, I met with the special envoy on Afghan issue from U.S. Embassy, and then she also talked about the challenges of giving education for women in Afghanistan. And at that time, I proposed distance learning. I proposed distance learning to women in Afghanistan, to pursue their educations. We mentioned about some educational institutions that offer a distance learning mode, in Indonesia, and probably it can also give some advantages or help a little bit, for the development of education in Afghanistan. But I have also to mention that Dr. Bambang is not only Open University, Universitas Terbuka, or Universitas Cyber Muhammadiyah, that really dedicate themselves, to open to educational distance learning. Even conventional universities are now trying to engage, trying to have a portion of virtual learning, to offer, to widen access, to give opportunities to more students, not only in Indonesia, but also in all over the world. I think some of the universities, private sectors have already initiated here in Indonesia. Thank you, Dr. Bambang, Pak Mansur. Again, thank you very much for sharing your experience. I hope that we can meet offline sometimes.
Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Amirrachman, for wonderful sharing session and then answering so many questions that our students and our lecturers have very what you call is intrigue, and then want to know more from you, okay, based on your experience and also from your knowledge. So showing that you really understand much from theory to practice and then to the situation in the field, right? So without a doubt, so thank you very much, Dr. Alpa, and then please joining with me and then congratulate and say applause to Dr. Alpa, okay? And thank you very much all for what we call is joining us in the LunchTalk. What we call this? This is the second time. So we will have another LunchTalk on September. So hopefully we will do it offline. Okay, so we will be, because at that time we starting our face-to-face for the new semester. Okay. So again, thank you very much, Dr. Alpha, for sharing with us, and all of us, all of you, to attend the online session, and see you for the next one on September. Right? Bye. Wassalamualaikum.
Salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Alpha. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alpa, Dr. Bambang.
Thank you, Prof. Mina and Dr. Bambang.
All right. So everybody may leave the Zoom room meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.